Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another Reddit video. We are looking at r/WWE. We're sorting by top. We're sorting by this week. I am filming on Sunday, February 9th, the day of the Super Bowl, or as I think a lot of people consider it, the WrestleMania of football, the WrestleMania of the NFL. I've heard people say that. So yeah, we're gonna look at a bunch of stuff from the past week, see what's been going on, see what people have been chatting about. Also, I haven't really made note of it. We're at like 6,300 subscribers on this channel. Appreciate it. That's crazy. 5K was the goal for a while. I think we set like a crazy goal of 10K by the end of February. Not impossible. Nothing's impossible. Anyway, we're going to dive in, but before we get started, please make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, leave your likes. Let me know your 2 cents on all the stuff we talk about. Disclaimer, this is coming after all of the unfortunate releases by the WWE. I think there were several of them. We're not going to dive too deep into that news, but obviously my sentiment is, it sucks. It sucks for these people to lose a job and lose out on, X, Y, and Z. And I hope they thrive and prosper, coming out of this situation. But it sucks. So, it's not worth going into, you know what I mean? All right, first one at the top here with 12K upvotes. The cameraman who captured this angle deserves a raise. Long-term storytelling at its absolute best, this says. Yeah, this is crazy. I remember whatever it was, I guess a week ago at this point, when Dante and I were on stream, shout out people on stream for the Royal Rumble, and we saw this image and it was like, ooh, I'm sure when they were in the Shield, they were like, these guys have a future. These guys have a lot of potential. But who would have thought, and I don't think the writers would have thought at that time that like however so many years later, over a decade later, we'd be getting these two guys from that incident of Seth hitting Rome with the chair, and years later coming into WrestleMania 41, like things are still being built off that relationship. I feel like I've talked about nothing but the Royal Rumble for about a week, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna look at like 1 or 2 comments. Roman's hair has always looked great when it starts to dry, LOL. Yeah, he's got a great head of hair. I would say top 3 in the company. He's not 3. I'll tell you that. He's got a good head of hair. As someone who knows a thing or two about that. This next comment says, and the producer who cut Alexa Bliss showing off her Bray Wyatt tribute should be fired. I don't know if they should be fired, but it was very reminiscent of AJ Styles returning, and they just kept the camera on Roman and wouldn't put AJ on the screen for some reason. She turned around. You got like a half a second, and you saw Fiend Friend. You couldn't really see like the little additions of the S or whatever in Friends, and also the R. They did kind of make up for it when I think Alexa showed up, whatever it was, on Raw or whatever, and they made note of it to like keep the camera on her and whatever. All right, we're gonna move on. I guess we're kind of keeping on Rumble talk a little bit. This says, man, felt bad for Balor. Dude got 0 reaction when he entered the Rumble. All right, here's the thing, and I've seen this discourse a little bit on Twitter, so like me saying this to combat this isn't even, it's not my original thing, but I agree with it. It's the theme song. Over the past like week, we've seen a lot of people like talk about Def Rebel. Bailey was on some sort of panel or whatever, kind of like winking that she doesn't like her theme song. I guess there's been a couple other notes of, superstars not really loving their theme song, not really loving Def Rebel. I think this is another case of that. It's a theme song we weren't used to. I guess he's probably had it for a while, but like when you're with the Judgment Day, you hear the Judgment Day song, and you rarely hear like what Finn Balor solo has today. I think that's all it was. It happened a few times in the Rumble of just like, wait, whose song is that? Oh, that sounds like so-and-so, and it's not. And I don't know. So I'm not putting too much weight into it as like, people are saying, oh, is Balor buried? Like no reaction at the Rumble. I don't know. I think it was pretty strictly the music and like people having a weird angle, not being able to see like the screens with the people's names, whatever. So it was a couple factors, but I guess part of this sentiment is that we want Balor on a bigger stage. We want him back in the main event picture. We want more for him, which that part I agree, which, I'm kind of assuming this is like the sentiment of it. That part I agree on. But in terms of, I said my piece. You get it. The top comment says, that's not on him though. I had 0 clue who was coming out until they zoomed in. Again, happened to a lot of people. One of the comments under here is the FXXX. He's kind of been using that, but it hasn't really stuck. So like even seeing that doesn't immediately make you think of Finn. This next comment is kind of mentioning the theme song, which is kind of my whole point. All right, moving on. Next one. All right, this next one is a screenshot of a text conversation. I haven't read it yet, but it looks like it's like a scam thing. But my question is, apparently whoever this scammer is pretending to be CM Punk, but why did this person go ahead and like already save the number as CM Punk? Was it to make the screenshot funnier and to make more sense? Maybe, but like, why is the number as CM Punk? All right, but the text says, this is the best in the world. Lightning bolt. I had a 434-day WWE Championship reign. Please reply. What's that meme or that old Snapchat meme where it's like someone with the little caption looking sad and they're like, I sent you my dick. Please reply or some shit like that. I need $9,000 to go back to Chicago to go see my dog Larry and wife AJ Lee. First and last name is funny. Also funny to put the dog first. And then it just says CM Punk. If you give me your bank account information, perfect, I'll let you be in my WrestleMania 41 entrance and pet Larry. This is the real CM Punk. This is the real CM Punk, by the way. Seth Rollins is with me too. All right, at that should be the first telltale sign. If you're believing it up until this point, first of all, you're crazy. You need way better, internet scam awareness. Common sense, I guess is what it is, but like imagining a world where like someone's believing this whole thing and then getting to Seth Rollins is with me too and then going, wait a minute, everything else sounds legit. You do have a wife named AJ Lee and a dog named Larry, but you hate Seth Rollins. I think this is a scam. This is not a scam. Acknowledge me. Ramen here too. I also now like to imagine that he's with Rollins and Roman took the phone and went, let him know I'm here too, and then went, acknowledge me. This is silly. This is dumb. Ramen is here. You can't say no to that. True. Not a huge fan of ramen. I like ramen. I'm more of a pho guy. Ramen's cool though, if you get it from a good place. Depends on the place. This is pretty good. People are really taking the like top 4 or 5 comments are all just like, it's nothing else but the ramen thing. This is a crazy Photoshop of ramen reigns. I fuck with that. They're literally all about ramen. All right, next one. All right, I'm skipping all the Royal Rumble stuff. I guess it makes sense. It's been a week. People are still talking about the Royal Rumble. Maybe I gotta move a day when this comes out. All right, this is what I was kind of talking about earlier about Def Rebel, but this is the official report, so I'm glad this is in here. Much of WWE talent have reportedly expressed, quote, unhappiness with their current theme songs. Also reports, this is all from Fightful Select, they've made, some of the wrestlers, superstars, have made attempts to get their previous songs back. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to rehash kind of everything I said about Balor. Everything I said about Balor and his like theme song kind of being pretty meh, relates to the general discussion, I guess. All right, top comment is, again, Finn Balor, also Sheamus, we need the Lobster song back. Didn't we get the Lobster song back for like a little bit and they changed it again? Just look at Joe Hendry, the theme makes the wrestler. 1,000% agree. I'm like that Subway Takes guy. 100% agree. 100% agree.
100% agree.
I love that show. I love him. Anyway, yeah, I think over the past, I mean, you can really say, I don't know, if you really want to stretch it, you could say over the past like 12 to 15 years, but like it's been more prevalent in recent years, let's say over the past like 5 to 10, of WWE really not putting an emphasis or a focus or a care or giving enough credit to the theme songs. It's why me and Dante's whole bread and butter with the channel is the theme songs. When we started out doing it, it was all nostalgia. It was all like, they're so recognizable. And when we first started doing the theme song quizzes, we'd get I Walk Alone, Batista, Rey Mysterio's, Edge, Randy Orton. And they're so synonymous with the wrestler. When I think of Batista, I very quickly follow behind and thinking of I Walk Alone. And I think Joe Hendry is the best case of like having that 80s, 90s, early 2000s mentality that the theme song is such a big part of the character. And Joe Hendry has really took that thinking, brought it back, and we're seeing and we have seen how well it works. So I hope WWE, with seeing the success of Joe Hendry, kind of takes that into consideration. And I've also seen reports that they have, or they've at least like made note of it. As much time and energy I think WWE does spend with the characters, I think they've been lacking the theme song department. And that's not a new thing. I'm not, saying anything crazy. A lot of people are on that side, but I wholeheartedly agree.
100% agree.
It says Jim Johnson was Beethoven, my goat. I saw a report when this discussion was kind of being brought up. I think it was either Fightful or Sean Ross Sapp was like, just to confirm, like Jim Johnston, no plans of bringing Jim Johnston back. Def Rebel is so shit. They make CFO $ look like Mozart. Everyone has some diamonds in the rough, right? Def Rebel doesn't have they have a handful of ones they got lucky on. Io Sky Ties, I think, being the most notable. If Def Rebel did make that, I think so. CFOs is definitely like that middle rung, right? If there was no Def Rebel, people would hate more on CFO, probably. Jim Johnson has the best. CFO has more hits than Def Rebel down here. And also, just to kind of wrap that up, the Royal Rumble is something that is so heavily reliant on like surprises and knowing who's coming in when you hear that music hit, right? Like, again, back in the day, you hear the glass break, you hear the beginning of I Walk Alone, you hear You Think You Know Me, you know instantly who's coming out. So many times during the Rumble, you hear the music start and you're like, who is that? Who's coming out? And you're like really scrambling on a screen to like look at one of the screens that might say the wrestler's name. All right, next post, it says my experience with Tiffany Stratton. I haven't opened it up yet. Are we in store for a little story time? Are we in store for a little like and after she said this and da-da-da? I don't know. Oh, okay. She's so cool. All right, I think this person knew what they were doing with that title. That's a as someone who's a YouTube guy, good title. That's a clickbaity title. My experience with Tiffany Stratton, parentheses, trigger warning, parentheses, emotional, and you click on the video and it's like, she's the best. She's cool as hell. Which also, I'm joking. I'm glad this is a positive thing. I'm just playing around. Hey, we can have some fun here every once in a while. She's so cool. She's the kind of girl that can be your bestie. She's fun. We chit chat a bit. She's a gem. She made a beautiful couple with Ludwig, one of my favorite heels now. Yeah, I mean, shout out Tiffany, shout out Ludwig. Tiffany's put the division on her back, man. And that's not to discredit anyone else. Like, maybe that was the wrong terminology. I guess more so what I meant was it's been cool to see her jump up and excel as a main eventer, as a top star so quickly. She's one of these people that just has that it factor, to see the success and the rocket get strapped to her and how quickly she won Money in the Bank and then the world title being on the main roster. It's great. I really think she's one of the best right now. She's going to have a huge future. I mean, she's going to be at the top of the division forever, dude. All right, this next one, unpopular opinion, John Cena does not need to be in a championship match at WrestleMania. This is kind of similar to something we talked about in our last Stash Club video, reacting to everyone's WrestleMania 41 predictions, which, no one watched. But yeah, again, won't spend too much time on it. So we talked at length about that, I think, on the podcast. But I agree. 100%. He's going to be wrestling till the end of December. Putting him in a title match and assuming he's going to win it at WrestleMania feels a little early into the run. Especially we haven't seen him much. Again, don't want to sound like a broken record, but Dante and I have been kind of saying, like, we want to see him struggle and fight back and deal with, like, the mental challenge of, like, oh, I'm getting a little older. Maybe I'm not the Cena I used to be. Can I still do this? Do I really have it in me to get the 17? And April seems pretty soon. I don't know. I think WrestleMania would be a cool spot for a non-championship match for John Cena. And then you got SummerSlam. Do it at SummerSlam. I don't know. Do it in Boston. Fuck it. Pretty appropriate for today. Again, I don't think this video is going to come out on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to put this out on Monday. So we'll know the winner, and congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, there's more here to read. It says the comparison goes, Roman beats Cody at WrestleMania. The Chiefs beat the Eagles at the Super Bowl. Again, Super Bowl, as most people call it, the WrestleMania of the NFL. WWE writes a comeback story where Cody beats Roman in a WrestleMania rematch a year later. NFL writes a comeback story where the Eagles beat the Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch. Oh, right. This is all hypothetically. Eagles must beat the Chiefs. Otherwise, this will be the biggest fumble in NFL booking. Eagles are too over with the fans right now. NFL better not screw this up. Yeah, I guess to really copy it, we would need an Eagles victory, which again, we will know it this time, and it happened. This comment says, can't wait for a ref to pull out a flag to call back an Eagles game-winning TD, and then lights go out and you hear the Undertaker gong. I lose my mind. I'm going to a Super Bowl party tonight. Well, party. It's just like us dudes hanging out, having some beers and pizza, watching two teams we don't give a shit about. I lose my mind. I think I would pop. Oh, if the Undertaker came out during like Kendrick Lamar's performance and he did a Baby King's verse on Family Ties. Did that happen? And we will know if that happened now. Yes, it did. All right, folks, that's where I think we're going to end it here today. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you enjoy these Reddit-style videos. I like making them. It feels like a nice weekly routine. Maybe we got to change up the day from Sunday/Monday to get different posts. Again, we did talk a lot about the Rumble. At this point, it's kind of old news. Before you go, leave a like, leave a comment. Please subscribe. Our goal is 10K by February. I think I'm averaging like 1,000 a month, so we gotta really skyrocket for the next about 20-something days. All right, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Bye.